Hi everybody. Welcome. That's crazy. I started before everyone. Hey everybody. Welcome to Cypher Sistas. I started the intro before the intro started, but that's okay. We're here for a special episode this week because of technical difficulties and life just lifing. We couldn't do our episode yesterday. So we're here today because we want to be consistent and stay consistent. So what's up, Malika? What you
How
smoking
you
on?
doing, sweetie? Um, honestly, I think this is like a wedding cake vape. I'm a sucker for wedding cake. It's good for me.
You
I
seem to
use it.
be.
Yeah, I use it in a lot of my edibles and things like that. And so wedding cake is kind of a strain that keeps me kind of mellow and chilled out, you know. So I like that. So wedding cake it is, out of a vape as usual. I want to funk up the house. What are you smoking on, my dear?
I am smoking on the same thing I had last week, which is Oreos.
All right. All right. All
You
right.
know, my significant other very much liked the strain, so we got it again this week.
I gotta come visit
Yeah.
you.
So for the stats on Oreos, you can watch last week's episode.
Yep, see, and we're getting phone calls in the midst. We're gonna have to mute the phone. All right, don't even know who that person is, but yeah, honey, I totally understand. I totally understand. If it's a good one, you got to keep going back to it because you don't know when you'll be able to get it again. You know, like my purple
Exactly.
monkey balls, like my purple monkey balls.
Exactly.
Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining
Hey
us.
Michelle. Oh, thanks for joining us. I know it's real early.
Cherry lime. Ooh, that sounds good.
Ooh.
That sounds delicious.
That does.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we figured we come a little early today. I don't know. We'll talk offline. Maybe. We'll see. But
Sometimes you gotta switch it up.
yeah.
Midday
You gotta.
life is where it's at. You feel me?
We're trying to keep y'all on y'all toes over there. That's what we're trying to do. Make sure y'all paying attention. And Michelle, you definitely are, and we appreciate you, sister, for your support. Man, oh man. So what we wanted to talk about. Let's go through a couple of things. Let's see what else.
Yeah, hit us with the legal. What's going on in the world? What's happening in legislation?
So look, man, the Senate, there was a Senate vote today. Oh, I'm sorry. The DEA put out a letter saying that Delta 8 THCO, Delta 9, and THCO are illegal. So don't be flying with that shit. You know what I'm saying? You may think that it's cool. You may think that it's cool. Once you step on the airport, you're on federal property. So let's be careful, right? But on the flip side, I mean, that means that they may start trying to bust people again for stuff like that, you know? And so it's something to be cognizant of because just because it's legal in your state doesn't mean it's federally legal.
Oh, okay.
And
because I was going to say, what about these, pop-up dispensaries now that are specifically and exclusively like Delta 8, Delta 10,
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I really do hope that the DEA has better things to do, like, keeping the hard drugs out of the streets. Why don't y'all do something about this fentanyl and then come back to marijuana if that's what you want to do?
That part.
But
that part.
But like, I really do hope that they're not running around trying to bust a little Delta 8 shot shit like that. Because I get a good pipe out of that place. You know what I'm saying? I think I may have froze up again, huh? I'm a freezer.
No, you look fine over here.
Oh, then you froze up for a brief second, or you were just holding a pose. So
I think I wasn't just holding a pose.
You were perfect with that pose, girl. You should be a meme or mine.
All my years of training and dance and my years,
just pose like a mug. All right. So the Senate is voting on the Veterans Affair. Wait a minute.
Hey, Naomi. Yeah, we doing a special episode this week.
We started a little early.
So we had technical difficulties yesterday, so we had to come in.
Yeah, so we decided we didn't want to miss you guys, and we appreciate y'all being with us.
I'm in my office, and we're gonna get interrupted by little people who don't know how to leave me alone. So I'm sorry, y'all, but y'all gonna see me shooing someone off the camera. You see? You hear that little one?
I heard a little voice.
Keep talking.
I was like, all right, cool. So anyway, the Senate is voting on PTSD and how it affects veterans in the VA. So they're going to look at how to they're going to look at potentially providing veterans with cannabis, and that's going to be a fabulous thing because there are so many veterans out here that suffer from PTSD, anxiety, depression, and all these things. And cannabis is just a thing that would be able to assist them and help them get through their daily lives on just a general, basic level. And so these are things that we're definitely going to need them to push. And so I'm hoping that the Senate vote on the VA thing today, or the PTSD and the cannabis, will actually go through, because that's going to be a big
Me too.
deal. That's going to be a really big deal.
It is because,
and that'll destigmatize weed or cannabis throughout the culture or throughout the country, right? Because if you've got your veterans on it, and these guys are typically very respected people because they put their lives on the line for us, right?
Exactly.
So I can't.
And they need it.
And they need it. They need it.
Have shown over and over how much cannabis is beneficial in treating PTSD in veterans. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Let's hope.
Do something for the troops. Okay.
Do something for the troops, because you don't pay them. We don't pay them.
They don't do anything for the troops. They really don't.
They give them a crappy house.
Men and women who sacrifice their lives to protect the liberties of this country.
Yes.
When they come home, they don't give them anything, and they don't do anything for them. Too many veterans that I see living in cars. Too many veterans that I
homeless
see
on the streets,
struggling. Like, I don't want to hear it. Okay.
Facts.
I don't want to hear it. I'm against war, but I do understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What the army represents, what the armed forces represent, and you can't be an idiot and say, "Oh, no, don't join the army. Don't do." We don't need the army, because we do.
We do.
We need the army. Every country has some sort of armed forces. We would be idiots if we didn't have them. And people actually, besides the people who sign up to be a part of the military because of they think about the benefits as far as college and things of that nature, because they feel like they don't have any other options. I completely support those people and understand why they do it. But your career military people who love being in the military, you know what I'm saying? I really respect those people who they love what they do, and they really passionately protect and serve this country and protect our civil liberties. And we have a lot as American citizens. We can say what we want about this country, talk shit about it all we want, but at the end of the day, we have the freedom to talk shit about it.
And the part is that
that's all I want to say.
Only 1.6% of the country actually volunteers to go in the military, right? So that's like a small percentage. We're talking 1.6% of people are out there defending our freedoms and defending our lives, and we can do them the common courtesy of making sure that when they get back, we take care and look out for them.
So. Exactly, because when you think about what a person goes through in the military, okay, when they go off to, these different countries, they have to sometimes kill someone.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about,
and they're eating great beef
to a person,
the book,
psychologically, spiritually, all of these things, components that this person now has to come back to the real world and carry all of that with them and try to live in the real world, and doesn't have anybody to talk to about it because no one else can relate to what they're experiencing.
Exactly.
Why can't we make their life a little easier by providing them with a resource that would be beneficial to them in every way? Like,
it would make them healthier. It would take away all the drugs that they. I mean, sometimes you go to the VA hospital and you got like a garbage bag full of drugs to take. It's ridiculous, and it's true. I mean, these guys are leaving with like paper bags full of drugs,
and then that's why they end up on meth. They end up on fentanyl. They end up on heroin.
The harder stuff to help,
because they couldn't reconcile their lives as in the armed forces and their lives now, so that they could just come home, like, and the people they love, like.
Yeah.
All of it not only affects the veterans, it affects the lives of the people who they love, their children, their wives, their husbands, their parents, who don't get their significant other back because the person is so traumatized that it's like without therapy. But not everybody want to go to therapy. Like, let's keep it a bean. You know what
And
I'm
if we're
saying?
keeping it really it's the lower income people that usually are the ones that are the troops, right? Because they have no other alternative. They haven't had that generational wealth that allows them to go to school and all these other things. And so these kids are looking for a way, and we're talking Black, Latino, and lower income Caucasian people. We're talking the poor people of this country. And a lot of them are the ones that go in as enlisted people because they have no other alternative. They're not living high on the hog. They're not part of that good middle class or that 1%. We've got a lot that do come from that, but a lot of those guys go in as officers, you know.
Exactly.
Because they are able to get a college education. But the lower guys, enlisted guys, those are the guys giving the most and receiving the least. So I think we've got a good stance on our veterans. We support and love them.
We 100% your decision to use cannabis. And please, veterans, use it responsibly. Learn about ways that you can really treat yourselves and how it can benefit you in treating your PTSD and any other health issues that you might have. Definitely reach out to our page on Facebook, Cypher Sistas group. And if you're interested in finding cannabis educators and coaches that work with veterans, because we do know some, and we will be happy to refer you to
that information. Yeah. Awesome. All right. And then Colorado, man, the governor is promoting a cannabis vending machine. Right? You can just go up there at any time, right?
I can't lie, I'm so not mad at that.
I'm hyped about it, dude.
Yeah, because cutting out the people, sometimes I really just don't want to talk to nobody. Like,
and
I just want
to go to a vending machine, punch in my shit and go about my business.
For the introvert in me is like, hallelujah. I love it.
I do too. And eventually, maybe in Colorado. So I've been to Japan before. You know, in some foreign countries, they have like vending machines all over the place, right?
Nice.
I can see that happening, man. That would be
fabulous. I can see that definitely thriving here.
Yeah.
Here in Virginia, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just in the middle. I put mine in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but you got to make sure that you protect it. Who's watching you when you come empty it, when you come fill it up? That's
that's gonna be
the only drawback.
Yeah. You're right. And then the Virginia Senate Judiciary Committee just defeated the bill that would have deemed drivers with small amounts of THC high, right? And so what was happening is that people were getting pulled over and things with small amounts of THC in their system, and they were being accused of driving under the influence, even though THC kind of stays in your system, right? Mm-hmm. So in Virginia, they cut that. I mean, they stopped that because they were also allowing cops to search your car based off of that, right? And so now that's a no-go. The bill passed. So now they don't.
I'm glad to hear that, because
but we got to be careful.
It's not like alcohol.
Exactly, but we got to be careful about who we have. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, like, you can't measure THC the same way that you measure alcohol. So that was stupid in the first place. Like,
but you look at who we have in legislation right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so we've got to be cognizant about what bills and things are coming through and what they are trying to pass and stuff like that. Like, because we have, look, I'm gonna be honest, because we have a Republican administration in in Virginia right now, and also in the country, right? We've got to be careful about these bills that they're trying to sneak through, because this is how that 3 strikes bill got through. You know what I mean? All these bills that were deemed to kind of, wow, car search because of cop. Yeah. So I'm glad that they defeated that bill, man.
Me too. And dang, I didn't know that, girl.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
That is traumatic. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that is definitely traumatic. And so we got to be watching these bills as they come through, and we got to make sure that we reach out to our representatives that we put in office and remind them, I voted for your ass. And even if I didn't, you represent me. And I'm campaigning against you next year to make sure that this stuff goes through. And that's all I've got in legislative news. I will like to remind you guys that there are about 700, and I believe it was 786. Let me get to my spot. There are about 786 bills right now going through. And so, 789.
If you have a link to a list of the bills,
I don't. I just do research. Yeah. It would be easy if I had the link, but no.
Yeah, that would be dope, because then we could all look at them.
Just a little bit. But Yeah, so right now they're, like I said, about where was I going? All right, there are 789 cannabis, psychedelic, and drug policies in state legislatures and Congress, and at least 20 cannabis and drug reform bills are scheduled on for Tuesday alone. So that is today. So at least 20 of them are going for Tuesday. So, let's go ahead and make sure that we're voting and making our voices heard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's really what I got for legislative news. Boom.
That's what's up. That's a lot, though.
Yeah.
I can't front. That was a lot. That was a lot. So Hot Topics, Rihanna, a Super Bowl show.
Prego. I think I was one of the first people to call it out on Twitter.
I didn't even call it out. I just was looking at her like, oh, she pregnant.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
No, I knew I had to call it out because I'm trying to be an influencer or something.
I mean, like,
I had to point it out. I had to.
I know you did. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for her. Hey,
I am super happy. And there was a meme.
I'm always happy for people who want children and can take care of them.
Yes. Did you see the meme of Chris Brown and
yes,
that's Drake? I'm looking forward to see if I can post it really quick to show y'all. Look, Chris Brown and Drake after seeing Rihanna's stomach on Super Bowl. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah.
I just thought all of the memes were really hilarious. All the posts are hilarious. I didn't really like everybody complaining about like her saying that performance was kind of lackluster or they wanted.
I mean, what's she supposed to do? She's pregnant.
Thank you. I feel like it was good. I feel like people need to accept that maybe she really just doesn't want to perform and be a singer in that way anymore. And that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like she's just ready to be retired from that particular area of her life.
But then don't go perform at the Super Bowl. I get what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But then,
I mean, but all right, think of it like this, right? You're a performer, and the Super Bowl is supposed to be like one of the biggest stages you could perform on.
Yes.
Even if you wanted to retire, would you pass up the opportunity to perform?
I'm going to tell you, I try to give my best in everything that I do. And I'm not saying that she didn't give her best. But I'm saying, like, I've seen other shows, like the Pre-Show was amazing. Beyonce show was amazing. Last year with the Cali folks, she could have had a collaborator come up there and do something with her. I'm not saying her show was bad, but I've seen more entertaining shows during the Super Bowl. And I've been watching since the late 80s or early 80s. So, I mean, I for what she did was cool. But like,
what the problem is? I think you guys were I think people were expecting her to
be Rihanna.
Like, not only that, but also maybe like reveal a new song and say she had an album coming out or something.
I don't give a shit about the album or the song. I'm just feeling like when you're doing a performance, I need to be engaged, and I was able to watch her several times.
You know who had me though? Her sign language interpreter. I was feeling her, boy.
Yeah, the sign language interpreter
thing. She was doing her thing.
And she was animated. And
yeah.
I love Riri. Don't get me wrong. I like Riri. I love her. I think she's done amazing things, especially for Black women. Shout out. She is a role model for little girls. I mean, she's one of the first Black women billionaires to do it under 30. Like, this child is doing her thing. Her songs are amazing. She's got an excellent fucking catalog. I mean, she's an amazing, well-rounded performer and entertainer. I love that. But what I was expecting was just a little more entertaining. But that's a personal opinion. And they like everybody got one.
For me, she kind of did exactly what I was expecting her to do, actually.
Yeah, well, when I found out she was pregnant, I didn't want her to.
Also, that she has a baby under 1. You know what it's like to be pregnant and have a 10-month-old?
I do not.
It's the worst.
And see,
it's fucking absolute worst. And no matter how rich you are, no amount of money can make your body feel physically good.
No, I get it. But then sometimes you panic. Then sometimes you just say, you know what, I can't do it this year. Or you have other people come out and perform with you, like collaborators, right? Because she's done songs with a bunch of people. She could have had somebody out there to do some stuff with her, and they could have been the ones doing all the grinding and jumping and, whatever we were looking for.
I mean, like, okay, so I really do think she really was, like, tired or just didn't have the bandwidth, because I seen a video of rehearsal, and there was somebody, like, in her place with the dancers.
And they were killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, she just didn't have it this year. And I'm good with that. I am cool with that. Like, I'm not expecting, like, let's say Anita Baker was to come out there. I'm not expecting her to drop it and, do all this other shit. I'm expecting her to perform in a ballad situation. Maybe Rihanna should have performed in that ballad situation where she came out in a luxury gown and, just stood on stage and belted out her tunes. But instead, she decided to do like a whole thing where she was supposed to be dancing and getting into it. And it just, because she was pregnant and we want her to be safe and we want her kid to be safe. And so, but it just wasn't what I was looking for a Super Bowl. That's all.
It wasn't given Super Bowl. All right, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. That is fair enough.
Yeah. And for real, after that performance, I can't say I'd pay $1,000 to just be in the building. I mean, but on the flip side, if I see somebody like Beyonce, I may pay $1,000 to be in the building if I can afford it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know she's going to give a great show. At Janet, the same thing. I paid a good amount of money to see Janet because I knew she was a performer. She's ready to do her thing. Rihanna has just succeeded in so much other stuff. Like, she promoted her makeup while walking down. I mean, she was just doing she was doing a lot. Now, I have to say, I like the way she incorporated that, promote your brand.
And I like that top. I love that bustier. That thing was too cute.
Yeah, it was cute. And she was promoting the hell out of her brand. So I got to give it to her on that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I felt about that. So look, what do you want to jump on first? Hiding your high? What to do if
I actually wanted to talk about one more thing.
Okay, all right, go for it.
And it was like this article that I read. Well, it's a tweet. It came up on my feed, and it just sparked like a whole thing within me because it made me like acknowledge a lot of things. So the quote, tweet says, grieving under capitalism sucks because capitalism demands production even when you have nothing to give. Banks, businesses, and landlords don't care about grief. Many days I have produced from nothing because I needed to keep my lights on. Producing when you have nothing producing when you have nothing to give is not magical. It is traumatic, draining, and it teaches you that you are only worthy of existing if you produce. Dying is expensive under capitalism.
It's very expensive.
This person, they said, when my dad died, we raised $30,000 plus private donations to cover his burial and our expenses while we waited to bury him. We ended up breaking even. The death industry is a scam.
Oh yeah.
So I really wanted to unpack this because I feel like it's something that we don't even acknowledge as a society, how we grieve. Like what's the proper way to grieve even, right? We don't even acknowledge like grief itself as an emotion that's separate from sadness or depression, or you know what I'm saying? Like grief is a deep sorrow.
And I think the grief goes to a couple of things, right? I think grief is because I was having a conversation yesterday about grief, and I'm like, well, grief also happens when you get divorced. Like that's
exactly what I was alluding to. Yeah, because sorrow is a feeling of deep loss due to anything, due to disappointment, due to betrayal, due to misfortune. And so I think the problem is like as a society, we don't even understand grief in and of itself and the nature of it, because if we did, I think there would be more attention paid to properly grieving.
Yeah, I mean, as a society, we're just now getting mental health, right? So as a society, we're just now getting comfortable with saying, "Hey, I have a therapist," and so I think it goes back to the way that we're raised as Americans in general. Is you suck it up, stiff upper lip is what they tell us. You know what I mean? You keep it together. You keep on moving. You keep on pounding. You keep on making shit happen, whether you're in it or not. Right? Yeah. You could be grieving over several different things. A divorce could be a big one, like we talked about. I know during my divorce,
loss of a friendship. a lifelong friendship that ends over nothing, or you get ghosted by this person, like fight with a sibling.
Yeah. I mean,
It depends on how close.
Yeah, I guess it does. It does. It depends on how very close you are with the person.
When
and again, that could be me.
When me and the one after me had our rift where we were not talking, like, you know, after I left and moved to Virginia, I was grieving the loss of our relationship, like for real, hard body.
Yeah.
Like, so you can definitely grieve the loss of a relationship with a sibling, for real.
You probably can. I think coming from a different, I don't know. I grieve my divorce. I grieve my grandfather. You know, some things I just took as stride. You know, shit happens, and I keep on.
Well, it's crazy. That's how I feel about when like someone dies. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like that's something that, and people react to my taking it in stride. They're very taken aback by it. Like, I mean, I will cry, but I'm not the spectacle type of crier. Like,
oh no, I don't think any of us are spectacles.
And not even like spectacle type of crier, but like I feel like sometimes people use the death of someone as an excuse and some type of catharsis for other shit that's going on in their lives, and they cry and make a big, like, when it's like,
and it may be because you know that you can't go back anymore, you know, because I think it depends on who dies. I really think it depends on who dies.
I agree.
Friend lost her daughter, and we all were hurt.
Yeah,
we all watched her grow up, and that was something. And I cried at her funeral. I don't cry at funerals.
Yeah,
I don't cry at very many funerals, and I cried at her.
I mean, a child's funeral.
Yeah. And she wasn't a baby child. She was like in her 20s.
She still was a child.
A
grown woman who had a full life and got married, and
she didn't get to do none of that.
Civilized woman. No, she was still a child.
She was always going to be a child in my eyes. You know what I mean? On some level. And it broke my heart. But like, yeah, you're right. We don't get because again, we live in a productive society. I mean, in other countries, they take siestas in the middle of the day.
I know.
To go take a nap.
That is literally what's one of the biggest lures of going to Spain for me. The siestas, baby. They live
do
life.
it in Italy too? They do it in a couple of places. I think so. They do it in a couple of places, I believe, over there. But there's more focus on family. I mean, if your family fucks up, you dishonor the whole family. You know what I mean? One person fucks up, it dishonors the whole people. We over here Americans are so individualistic and so selfish with our own shit that if I fuck up, I ain't got to be tied to you. I can kind of keep my and deal with you behind those doors, you know. But like in public, I ain't got to be with you no more. And I can just cut off that relationship. And it's sad that it's just that easy. You know what I mean?
No, but it's true. You're not even lying, though. You're not even lying. That's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, and it's and so for me, I knew like, okay, so I don't understand, like, and it could just be me, right? I understand surprises happen and shit happens, but I don't understand how, like, you can't plan for something that's important to you or important to your mate in advance. And I'm just gonna jump on Valentine's Day just to jump on it, just not complaining because I'm doing good. I got my shit, so I ain't worried about it. But
so we done with the grief topic.
No, I'm coming back to it. Give me a sec. Well, fuck, I done lost my train. Go ahead, honey.
No, Valentine's Day. I want to hear this.
No, I was getting down to
planning for Valentine's Day.
Boom. Okay. So, like, you know, stuff happens like every year on a certain date, right? You know it's coming. Valentine's Day falls February 14th every year, right? And so you plan for that similar to like you would plan for like grieving a person, because you know you got older people in your family, and that's how I planned for my grandpa, right? I knew I had an older person in my family, and I knew he could go at any moment. I didn't know what was going to happen, and so I saved up my leave, and I had 30 days of leave so that I could be prepared for him if anything happened. Now, I'm not saying that people have to save up 30 days because everybody ain't got that flexibility, but prepare. because you know that the older people in your family are getting older.
Exactly.
And so
I
get
agree.
ready for that.
I
Have money to
agree.
get that plane ticket. You know what I mean? Or get that
I
credit
agree.
card that you hide from yourself and put off to the side so that if anything happens and you got to be there for somebody that you truly care about, you can be there. Because what winds up happening is we get in situations where we're not capable or able to plan in advance, and we wind up getting the short end of the stick. And then we wind up doing the GoFundMe's and stuff like that. And I'm not knocking anybody that has to do that, because shit is not even across the board for everybody. But sometimes that shit has to, you have to put that in the back of your mind. I need to make this trip because my grandpa's going to pass in the next, you got 20 years plus to plan.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was getting to with the planning thing. Shit is coming. Stuff is happening. When your mate's birthday is happening. You should have something prepared, even if it's just a fucking card, because it's coming. It comes the same time every year. And the same thing with our elderly people. We know when they're coming. Now, younger folks, you can't plan for that. You can't plan for a good friend passing and stuff like that unless you just have, my grandpa always told me, just keep a backup credit card you never touch, and that'll get you through anything, because boom, you can get on a plane and go anywhere you need to go. So that's where I was going with it.
So I totally hear you. And in some ways I definitely agree. The expectation is always there when it comes to like an elderly person passing. Like when my grandpa passed earlier, not this year, last year. He passed late last year. Sorry. I'm in the winter mind, but it was in November. Everybody had their reactions. Mine was like, I kind of, you know what I'm saying? I was already preparing because this man was almost 100 years old.
That's another thing about
but
you were prepared.
On the flip side, other relatives were very taken aback and surprised, and I was just like, okay.
You knew. Like, how old was your grandpa? Let's push it in perspective, if you don't mind my asking.
No, he was almost 100, like closer to 100 than 90. So
come on now,
because I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't remember the exact number.
No, but and my grandfather, when he passed, he was in his 90s. Yeah, and so it's like you knew it was coming, and so you prepared yourself mentally, at least.
On the flip side of that, I feel like that's still very capitalistic. And
I know it is.
Right,
that's how we're bred.
The whole thing of what I'm saying is the fact that we, as a society, are conditioned to completely overlook our grief.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, even the way that people react to someone who chooses to process their grief externally. Like that person who is grieving and they're laying in bed all day or just despondent. You know what I'm saying? People, after a while, like, are impatient with that person, but you can't rush it. Exactly.
And that's why I went to the fact that I was able to save the leave, because when he did pass, I was able to lay in bed for weeks on end. I was able not to answer phone calls. I was able to be that despondent person, but I'm a private person too. So I was able to do that on my own terms alone. And I wasn't affected. I still got paid, but I had the time saved up because I was preparing for it. So I was ready for it. So I was able to do all that stuff.
And that's the crazy thing about it. Like, the fact that you have to literally
plan
and
to grieve.
Yeah, like, what?
I mean, that goes to your whole point of why we're having this conversation. I planned to grieve, and even when I did go back, I still wasn't ready. I wasn't ready 100%, but I still sucked it up and toughed it out. But at the end of the day, you're right. And how do we change that culture? Because everybody here is like that. People come here to be that person.
Agree. And it's similar to just the way we handle something as life-changing as becoming a mother.
Yeah.
When you go back from your little 6-week maternity leave, that's the standard that they give you when you're not, necessarily somebody who is employed and a salary employee, and they provide you with paid medical leave and all of that good stuff. The standard is that 6 weeks, and it's not paid, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to prepare for that.
You gotta say
you can't go past the 6 weeks. And I don't know about anyone else, but like with my first child, I had a whole like anxiety slash meltdown about going back to work, so much so that I was like paralyzed by my anxiety and I couldn't go back. And that was at the 6-week mark. I was not ready to, I wasn't even feeling recovered, much less wow.
3 days. And that's typically, but that's standard. That's standard. They'll give you, and some companies don't even give you the leave. You have to take it out of your sick or your vacation leave.
And that's what I'm saying.
And only
the whole point I'm trying to say is,
so if you've got 2 grandparents and they're still alive, if one goes, you got time. You can spend that time on that one, but you got to say screw the other one.
Thank you. And can you plan for that?
You can't plan for that.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. What if 3 people in your family die in one? Okay. What if, God forbid, you have your child and they're born stillbirth? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, there's no plan.
That's a double whammy.
And they don't plan for that.
Okay.
And they don't allow you to plan for that. Yeah, because if your
how could you plan for that?
If your child is born as a stillbirth, unless your company, and a lot of them have, okay, so it's typically the bosses. It's the relationship with the boss that allows you to kind of, if they understand you and you understand them, they'll work with you on some levels. But a lot of companies, like bigger companies, don't have that leeway, right? Because it's the mom and pop companies that allow you to do that. But the leeway,
right,
for the bigger companies, the corporation says you can only have 1 death per year. Like, what kind of shit is that? I hope I'm interpreting that right. Or I hope I'm not interpreting a year. No, I hope I'm not interpreting that right.
It looks like you did interpret it right.
I hope I'm not, because that's ridiculous. Because like, if you got, because you got 2 parents.
But this is the society we live in.
Yeah. So what do we do to change it? Or do we have any tips to help
us?
What
can we do besides your wonderful tip about planning and preparing?
You said yes. You were
the only way to navigate. That's the only way to navigate in this society. Literally, it's the same thing with just basic self-care. You have to put safeties in place. You have to put safe stops in place so that you can refer to them when you get caught up in the rat race and you're dying because you're exhausted or manic or whatever. You know what I mean? Because you haven't taken a moment to take care of yourself. Literally, the gist of it, as much as we love it, capitalism is killing us. It's moidling us. So, I don't know.
Yeah, some crazy shit out there. Some crazy shit out there.
What happened?
None.
Oh.
Yeah. I figured you done depressed me with this shit, man. I needed to give me a split. It's reality and it's a life we
gotta have real talk. We can't always talk about superficial shit. You feel me? Like,
no, I get it. But I definitely I need to work on that. Because it brought back memories. No, but thinking about it, it just brought back memories of my grandpa and stuff like that. And I don't think I'll ever be 100% done grieving.
I feel you.
Not there.
I feel you on that.
Yeah. So, but that's crazy.
I feel the same way about my grandma. When she died, the whole experience was just like, I think that kind of like traumatized me and set the tone, like, for me, that I'm constantly in a space where no one's ever gonna shock me in that way again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And yes, I could have been more prepared because she was an elderly woman, but she wasn't like 100 or 90 even. She was still like young 80s.
Yeah.
And the way that I, first of all, was given the information of her passing was just like, whoa, boss, like, really? Then, a young person with a job, they want you to come right back. I was at work when I found out. They wouldn't let me go home early. I couldn't think of anything else. Like, it was just a whole terrible situation. And I think like that one time of being so inundated by the sorrow and the grief of it, I was like, all right, I'm good on that feeling. Yeah. And I just don't let myself feel that way anymore. Like, when my godmother died, I miss her like crazy. Sometimes I think about her,
I was gonna
all
say
of
you
that
were
good
super
stuff.
close to her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it didn't. I didn't cry in the way or feel the sorrow I felt when my grandmother died. Like
Yeah.
I never have felt that way again since I've experienced a death,
Losing your
and I've
grandma.
experienced a couple more deaths since my grandma died. You know,
Wow.
not that, but she was my person, so you know.
Yeah, my grandpa
uh,
was my person. He was definitely my
like,
person.
he literally was the only person that ever really, really saw me and knew me. So it was
And
really hard.
understood. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, but let's talk about something else. So, what is we're gonna
That was a
bring
little
this.
draining, folks. Let's take a deep breath. Let's get ourselves.
Yeah, for real.
Take a deep
So
breath. Bring
we
it back.
about to we're both gonna go through the rest of our day, and it's still pretty early, and we've been
It is.
chiefing, and so we read this funny article and we thought it would be hilarious to share it with you guys. It's called "The Stages of Being High." Right?
Yes.
So, um, stage one, anticipation.
You rolling
Wait,
up, you dancing.
I'm sorry.
You rolling
So
up, you getting ready.
anticipation, you about to get it?
You smell
Exactly.
the
This is
bud.
the first stage of being high, and you're anticipating what is to come. You haven't
Yeah.
ever smoked bud yet, but you have a suspicion. I guess this is for the novice smokers. This article, I should have known,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
this
It's
is
always,
honestly, this doesn't. That's why when I read it, I was gonna tell you
but
that when
still,
I
I
read this,
think.
I was like,
But for me, anticipation is I smell the bud. I'm getting ready. I
I
know what
guess
the
so.
shit is gonna taste like on my, on my palate. I'm looking at it from a broader standpoint. I'm looking at it from the fact that, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, we all go through the anticipation. When you smell the bud, when you dealing with your plug, or you at the dispensary and you do the
Yes,
number,
yes.
you
That's
like,
I will
oh
say
yeah.
that is the only time that I have the real anticipation.
We
Anticipation.
all got the anticipation. We all like,
All right.
oh yeah,
All
that's
right.
what
All right. All right.
that's
All
what
right.
like I
All
just set
right.
the plug up and I was like, hey man, you got anything purple? And like my anticipation is this is the week he's supposed to have something. So I'm like, yeah, this is my anticipation. I'm about to be giggly. Yes.
That's what's up. Um, stage two, savor the flavor. So that's when the olfactory kicked in, which is what you was talking about. You smell it, you're getting ready. So
Yeah.
I feel like for me, savor the flavor would come before anticipation.
Oh, well, see, savor the flavor to me is I'm tasting it, like I'm getting it. So this is savor the flavor to me. Watch y'all. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Savor the flavor for me is when I smell like the
Just
actual
smell the
flower,
bud. Okay.
and I'm like, ooh, that's funky. It's skunky. You know what I'm saying? Like when them
Yeah.
turns hit, that's when I savor the flavor.
See.
I don't know. I guess it's a little different.
It's different for different folks, man.
For the purpose of smoking, I guess savor the flavor works because that's when you get your first hit. So yeah,
Yes.
because that's what it says.
But your favorite flavor is good too, because I'm doing that while I anticipate. I'm anticipating. So I'm saying I can see how you can do it backwards. You savor the flavor first. Damn, that shit's gonna be good.
Yeah,
And you in the car driving like I'm
my style.
Yeah.
That's my style. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
It's the first two though. It works either way. However, whatever order these work for y'all.
So stage three is the moment of clarity. That's when the tingle happens, when you start to begin to feel the effects of the THC hitting that body. That's when the THC crosses the blood-brain barrier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then number four is energy, focus, and awareness. Now, I love to see that moment happen when people start to get chatty in the cypher and they start, hey, did you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shit is so funny.
Yeah, it is.
And stage five is chill time. That's after the chatty, and then your mind starts to race because that is when the paranoid feelings and the anxiety start to happen a little bit. So you be quiet so you could calm yourself down. Go ahead, Malika, pick up
All right, so
this.
stage 6 is called the reckoning, right? And so your body's kind of encountering the full effect of the weed. You're starting to feel it. You're feeling the tension if there's any there, but you're starting to get into a relaxed state. And so that's the reckoning. Stage 7 is reaching the peak, and that's, you're high and your body is at the top. Like, this is the climax of your spliff, and you're enjoying it so much, and you're right there. You're right at the feel great level. This is what you were waiting for. This is what you came here for. This is why you fired up that smoke. Number 8 is sharing. Okay, so now I'm good. Would you like to hit this? And that's where we are. We're sharing at number 8, right? Number 9, you're starting to come down a little bit because you're like, okay, it was good. But things can be a little bit disoriented if the feelings start to begin to lift, like your feeling of euphoria and that highness start to go away a little bit in the decompression stage. And stage 10, which is one of my favorites, which is reset and repeat. So, get yourself together, go spend a couple of hours doing whatever it is you like to do, garden, bake, cook, whatever it is you like to do. And yeah, man. And repeat the process all over again. You see my eyes? I went through all those stages.
How to hide? What you talking about? How to hide your high?
No. I'm still talking about the stages, man. I ain't got there yet.
Oh, okay.
So now that I'm hiding the mug, now it's time to hide this shit, right?
Especially today, where you gotta go do stuff after this broadcast.
Yes. So look, they also tell you, like, when you're too high, if you get too high, they'll give you some tips on what to do. So it's like, don't get too relaxed, like calm down a little bit, but don't get too relaxed where you're just like cussing in front of your friend's mom and shit, because you just, you're letting stuff drop by mistake. And that's too comfortable. That's too freaking comfortable. Show some respect. I'm only allowed to cuss in front of my mom.
I'm sorry, but who is getting that high? I don't understand.
Hey, the thing is what to do if you're too high. And I'm telling you, don't get too comfortable. Be aware of your situation. Even that little thing in the back of your head.
Take a little CBD too.
You can take some CBD. Yep, I ain't got to that part yet.
Sorry.
No worries. We can jump into that. So yeah, CBD helps. CBD does actually help counter being high. And so if you're really too high, take a little CBD. That'll help bring you down a little bit, so you're not in a panic mode and you're not in paranoia mood or whatever it is that happens to you when you're just too freaking high. Right. Another thing, you cry. Some people laugh.
Hell yeah.
See, she's laughing.
I cry a lot. Oh my God. Then I laugh at myself for crying because I'm like, you are crazy.
I love you.
I never get that high around other people though. That's personal me time. When I do it when I need to just have an emotional purge. So
yeah, no, I can
actually really cathartic.
See, so some people cry too much, yeah, but these are signs that you're too high. You're too relaxed. You're laughing too much. You're clumsy as shit. You're forgetful. You're on the couch and you're zoned out. That's too high, right? You need to take some CBD, unless that's the plan. If that was the plan, be too high and just chill and enjoy your day and just coast through it, right? But these are some things to try to cover your high, right? You need to change your clothes, because if you were just smoking and chiefing in the, don't go into work after you just chiefed in the same outfit that you've been wearing to chief, right? Maybe take a shower, brush your teeth, get it off your breath. It's on your fingertips. Like sometimes I walking around and I smell it on my fingertips and I'm like, damn, that kind of, and I'm like, oh shit, I did smoke. I need to go wash my hands. That'll get that deodorant works. A sploof, this is what this is. So this actually kind of filters the smoke. So you blow in here after you take your puff. You can use a vaporizer or humidifier. This is what I use right here. This is for when I'm smoking indoors. Reduce your red eye. Everybody knows that, like, the telltale signs of being high is usually the red eye, right? So
wait a minute. You saying like you're against a lunch break split?
If you're working in an environment where you could be fired, yes, I am. I mean, you gotta
I am 100% for the lunch break split. I'm sorry, can I just quickly say this?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because that's what I was gonna say. If you have a little system set up for your lunch break smoke, you gooch. I do the same thing. I used to have a system in place. Thank you. Thank you, Naomi. I kid you not, that was me all day when I used to go out to work.
Yeah,
I
I
had
get it.
my smell goods. I had literally a specific smoking hoodie. Took that joint off.
So
When
that's
I
changing
was
your
done,
clothes. Yep, that's the
I
changing clothes thing. Go ahead.
I had a face mist.
A
If
who?
I couldn't get to the bathroom, a face mist.
Okay. Yep,
If I
I got.
couldn't get to the bathroom, I had my gum and my Altoids.
That's your breath.
Eye
That
drops.
was the tea thing. Yep, the eye drops. I talked about that.
For my hands, I had a way to sand. I use hand sanitizer on my, because it's like you said, it does smell your fingertips. I use it on my fingertips. Wipe it off with a paper towel. Then put my smell good lotion on. I never was caught. Was suspected of anything ever. Clear eyed and jipper as a mug back
That's
from my
all I'm
break. Okay.
saying. I didn't say not to do that. That's what actually you're literally just repeating what I said.
No. But I was just trying to say,
to hide your
because
eye.
you were saying, you kind of said it like you were against what the hell?
No, it depends on your job and what you do for a living. Like everybody,
look, I don't even understand.
Huh?
Somebody just called me and I don't even understand. I'm trying to put my computer on do not disturb. Ruth, stop calling somebody. This has been about. This is why I don't ever want to do this in the daytime again. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Sunglasses help.
But as well. This is my life, y'all. I got 6 children. So
I'm not gonna front. If you're my surgeon and you come showing up high, I may be concerned.
Hell no! If you a surgeon,
but see, that's what I'm saying. Everybody can't be like that. Everybody can't smoke on their lunch break.
All right, but
everybody can't do that. So
I wasn't talking to the surgeons. I was talking to the people who got jobs where they can't stand what they do and they need a real stress relief on a lunch break.
I'm not complaining about that. I wasn't going against them. I'm just saying everybody ain't able. So sometimes, it's best to do a couple of extra things. But you used everything I used. You said brush your teeth. Yeah. So we were on the same page. Yeah, I'm not anti.
No, I completely agree. My understanding of what you were saying was a little off, because I was thinking that you were saying it wasn't possible to get yourself back in order if you smoked on your lunch break.
No, I never said that.
No, I get that now.
Yeah, that's not where I was going at all. People, I'm an advocate. Smoke anytime you can. Where's the line drawn? I think that surgeon is a good example of where we draw the line. Like, you can't be smoking.
To be honest with you, here's my thing, right?
If you're operating a weapon,
here's my thing. I feel like the line is drawn at how are you using the cannabis at the specific time? Are you using it to be high? Are you using it to take the edge off of pain that you're in or the anxiety that you're feeling? Because you're not necessarily going to be sky high. You feel me? There's a level of cannabis THC consumption where you can be completely functional, pass all the tests, hand-eye coordination at 1,000. Like, so that's where I draw the line. What's your level of consumption? Are you using it because you do need to take the edge off because you're gonna punch a fucking hole in the wall if one more person complains because you do customer service, or you know what I'm saying, and you just need a minute to come back and be jipper enough to deal with people for the end of your shift? Hell yeah.
Customer service people smoke all day. Shit. Surgeon, police officer while on duty, anything that can impair your judgment, I don't think you should be dealing with while doing specific type jobs. I'm not saying the surgeon can finish the surgery and go get high, but before you come back, come down. That's all I'm asking for.
And Naomi, to answer your question, you do use sharp objects and all of that good stuff. So do people who do hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind if the person who does my hair has had a spliff or edible, within reason.
Yeah.
to doing my hair because they're gonna be standing there all day. I don't want them to be miserable while they doing my hair. You feel me? So I guess I once again filed that under a service industry type situation. So for me, I'm perfectly fine with you having consumed cannabis and worked on my dog or
Dude.
my hair or my nails.
Yeah. Honestly, it's when
or
you're
my
clumsy.
kitchen.
It's when you're starting to get clumsy if you're operating with those sharp tools and things like that.
Exactly.
Everybody's tolerance is very different, so But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say you'd be splashed, while you're trying to deal with the dogs and laid out on the couch with them.
Thank you. Feeding them cheese doodles like it's Dumb and Dumber or something. Like that's a different type of. Okay.
But if you're in a situation, where each person's tolerance is different, but you got control over how you operate, and you know what you can do. You know what I mean?
For real though. For real.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with anybody ever.
But honestly, that was a really good question, Naomi. I really appreciate you asking, where the line should be drawn because it's a valid question.
It's a great question. It was a great question. And I totally agree with Rachel. It depends on what you do. And at the end of the day, I want everybody to smoke. Everybody in the world should have a spliff a day. Except for
I don't know about smoking, but I do want everyone to have the freedom to consume their cannabis however the hell they choose.
Amen.
Only because smoking isn't that good for you long lasting,
Actually, though, I'm seeing some counter research. We'll have to talk.
I'm still seeing research to the contrary. Just because it's cannabis doesn't make the smoke of it okay. Lungs are not meant to inhale smoke on a consistent long-term basis. And no matter what we want to say, that isn't what our lungs are made to do.
They're not. But I'll show you. I'm going to send you an article that I read with the AMA.
Dry vape, live resin vape. These things are innovating. I don't know. They don't know the long-term ramifications of vaping yet either because it's still a fairly new practice.
Yeah, it's fairly new. So look, what are you getting into after this?
I didn't get to nerd out today, guys. That made me a little
ahead. You got time. You got 4 minutes. Nerd out.
I'm not gonna nerd out about cannabis though. Y'all want to know what I want to nerd out about?
Oh Lord, is it related? Can we relate it back some kind of way? Now these are sisters
to cannabis.
The Cypher.
It's just related. It's more related to womanhood. So
nerd out, baby.
I saw this post on Instagram and it was about this woman and she just recently died in childbirth because she was telling the nurses and doctors, I'm complaining of leg pains and the things that a normal person would complain about when they're having.
But she was black.
Yeah, she was black. And it hit me a little hard because last year and the year before that, there was a lot of promotion of the Black Momnibus. So it's a Black Maternal Health Care Act, the Momnibus. And it's supposed to, drop the Black maternal mortality rates and provide resources and access to Black birthing people and, all that good stuff. And so I was just really taken aback because I'm like,
I saw a show like that. And I don't know if it was the 1619 Project. Have you seen that yet?
I haven't seen that yet, but okay.
I just saw a show and the lady was expressing how she lost her child. It was a white doctor and she was complaining about certain things because she was pregnant with twins. And no, you said she lost her child. This one, she lost one of her twins.
No, the lady died.
Oh, the lady died.
Yeah. Oh, so her family was posting about her story. And this has come and it's like consistently I'm seeing these stories being posted. It's like a cycle of them. It goes away. People say, I'm going to do better. We're going to have these practices happen in a hospital. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. and nothing's being done.
Get yourself a doula.
Nothing's
Please.
being
Sorry.
done. And we could say, get yourself a doula, but here's the problem. People don't have access to the services of doulas because doulas are an expense that isn't necessarily affordable to everyone. And I'm not going to say that doulas need to cheapen their prices because that's not fair. For the services that they provide, they charge reasonably well. Your average cost of a doula is anywhere from $800 to $2,500, and I've never seen more, and it hasn't been egregious. And what they ask for what they offer, 100%.
I mean, but let's look at it from the perspective of, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? So $800 to $100, that's how much a stroller is nowadays, people.
I understand.
If you're gonna willing to spend that on the stroller, look at getting the doula instead. Go ahead.
Yes, I agree. But even that, not everybody could even afford a $800 stroller. You feel me?
No, I know.
And a lot of programs, a lot of these, and to speak to that, a lot of these programs, these community programs, are giving out baby furniture right and left. So that is not even something that people would actually comparatively think about when it comes to the cost. Now, the problem here is now that the Momnibus has come into play, doulas can apply to be state certified providers, and they can then get a national provider's ID, and you can they can be reimbursed under Medicaid, right, and other insurances. Nobody knows about this. They're not promoting it. They're not sharing it. They're not recruiting. Okay, in Virginia, I had to go down a rabbit hole of research to figure out how to get it done. And it's still not even, I'm still not even close. Okay.
So share what you have on the page, or share what you have in the group, man. For people trying to apply. Like, is it a law that they're trying to put on the books? What's going on?
Okay, the legislation's on the books. There's a whole program to become.
So there is a program.
Yes. Now the problem is, yes. So you can Google how to become a state certified doula. Who's that?
A Facebook user.
I know. Facebook user. Who are you? I bet you.
Okay, so you want to read it or you want me to?
Yeah. Let me quickly wrap up Rachel's nerd out moment. You guys, basically all I'm saying is, however you can, start to support your local Black birth workers. Share their posts, share their businesses, refer them, encourage other women who are birthing to hire doulas. There are plenty of doula listings out there. Some doulas are covered under Medicaid. Try your best to find one if that's the issue. Try to find one that has a national provider ID number and can be you can reimburse, because that's how I was able to have a home birth with my midwife. That woman is I mean, I really applaud her. She made sure she had her ducks in a row. She became a certified under Medicaid. And I was able to, and she had a national provider's ID, and I was able to use my health insurance to pay for my home birth.
That's what's up. So, like, can we share some of that information in our group so that people can see some of this stuff? Like, maybe we can do some, let's talk offline, but maybe we could do some research so we can share out there people's information. Maybe you share.
Absolutely. I want this information to be out there so doulas could start getting their MPI so that more women can have their services. Like the grants have been, the information has been hi Empress. The information has been out there. You know what I'm saying? Like the funds have been allotted. It's just a matter of people now. But the problem here is the disconnect between the organizations that they're saying can do the training, and you know what I'm saying, the certifying bodies, and the people who are certifying these certifying bodies, and the people who want to be certified. Because the certifying bodies.
Go ahead. The certifying
bodies don't list the programs that you can go under. They don't have any programs in place for doulas who have already gone through certification, because they're expecting you to have been certified within the last 3 years. But if you've been a doula for practicing doula for 12, 13, for 15 years, where does that leave you? You know what I'm saying? So
No, I
I'm
get it. I
trying
get
to find the answers to these questions, because I am a doula who's been practicing for over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So
But
I think the best way that we help people is like we'll put people's information out of the doulas that are already certified that we know of. You know what I mean? And then from there, we can start to backtrack, because I think supply is going to equal the demand, right? Or I think that as we start to educate more people and they understand that they're capable of using a doula, more people will be looking for doulas, and so those people that are those rabbit holes will be easily found. You know what I mean? So I think there's a two-pronged approach to it, right? So first, we'll start to list people or organizations that we know on our page, get into our Facebook group, and it's Cypher Sisters on Facebook, and we have Cypher Sisters on Instagram as well. Just check us out on either one of those, and we do list a lot of valuable information, and we have some funny ass memes. I mean, are you bullshit?
We do. We
But
we love a good laugh. We love a good laugh.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And really quickly before we close up, I'll just read Empress's comment. In my opinion, cannabis does not impair motor function. And me personally, it does not stop me from operating a vehicle. I drive while burning my spliff. Never been in an accident I caused from being stoned. The accidents I've been in, on the other hand, were caused by third party under the influence alcohol. More research is needed before we tell people not to smoke while doing their jobs. Agree. Whether school teachers, police officers, groomers, burn your herbs before you work. You're gonna need it. Yeah, I agree, Empress. Well said. Well said.
Yeah. Very well said. Very well said. Yeah. And on that note, I guess we'll be closing up for this evening. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks again, and have a blessed day. And don't forget to enjoy a spliff.